Let me tell you about the worst mistake that I've made in Ghana so that you don't have to go through it. So my partner had come over from London to visit me in Ghana. And after a long afternoon of filming, he took me out for dinner. So we went to a vegan restaurant that I had been wanting to go to for a long time, Mahorgany. Let me just tell you, that food was so nice. We ordered so much food. Trust me, we were really big back in it. And when we were finished, we had to take some away, right? So he paid, we got a takeaway bag, we took the rest of our food with us. As we were leaving, I decided rather than just getting a taxi home, let's go for a walk. Let's walk off some of this food before we go. So once we left and we got outside, I realized, oh, at least it's going to be a decent walk. There's actually pavements on this road. So for those who haven't been to Ghana before, not every road is paved or every road has a pavement, but this was in for lack of a better term, this was like in the area that tourists often go to. We were at the Africana Centre, so we was leaving the Africana Centre and we was just going for a walk on a main road. And it was a nice evening. Yes, we can't help the pollution and the stuff in Accra, but it was a nice evening. So the sun was going down and the sky was pretty. And one of the actual things that me and my partner like to do when we're in London is going for walks, like going to parks, etc. And that's actually one thing that my partner pointed out. This place that we was walking down this road, there was a beautiful manicured garden beside us. And he was like, I would just love to roll in that grass. Man, I miss parks. But anyways, there was no entrance into the grasslands. Like you would have to actually climb over a fence. And because there was no gaps, I was like, nah, just don't go on that. It looks like they have actual gardeners and really take care of it. So I was like, no, let's just continue walking. So we continued walking, just reminiscing on good times. And then all of a sudden we saw this beautiful building. It looked like an Ashanti store. It was so like mesmerizing. And my partner well and truly was mesmerized and he was like, I need a picture in front of that. So I took out my phone and he stood in front of the building, in front of the gates, and he posed. I took some photos of him. They were really nice. And I was ready to keep it moving, but he was like, nah, I need a picture of you. So I stood in front, I obliged, and I posed and I took some photos. All of a sudden, I hear this loud noise like a car pulling up. Screech! I look to the side of the road and there's these men shouting, jumping out of an SUV. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, what is going on? So I just went and stood beside my partner. We both looked at each other like confused. So these men came over to us, accompanied by soldiers with big guns. And I'm just like, what is going on? And they were just shouting and shouting in our faces. And honestly, I didn't have a clue what they were saying because they were talking in a Ghanaian language. I guess shortly after they realized that we weren't understanding them, so they were like, what are you doing in front of this building? We were like, we were just taking photos. It's a nice building. He's like, you can't do that. Could we do that in your country? And I was like, yes. Me and my partner literally looked at each other and were like, yes. And then one of the soldiers said, where are you from? Or one of the agents, where are you from? Tell me why this man, my partner, decided to say, oh, I'm from Nigeria. My G, just say you're from London, okay? It's not time to talk about where your heritage is from. Just say you're from London, okay? I put on my best British accent and said, I'm from the UK. I'm from London. I done my best to sound as white as possible. Going to school and growing up with so much white people around me, bruh. Trust me, I know when to change and to code switch. So I code switched as much as I could. Anyways, we tell them where we're from and they just keep talking, just shouting in our face. I could feel their hot breath on me. And My partner had the phone at this time, so they told him to delete the photos. He had no problem, I had no problem. He deleted the photos. I took my phone back and I was trying to keep it moving. All of a sudden, a few more soldiers walk over and one comes up into my face and is like, they've obviously told him that they've deleted it now. So one comes up to my face and he's like, "Oh, she has an iPhone. They have an iPhone. You need to go to the recently deleted. Stop playing with us." That kind of thing. We're not stupid, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, I just wanted to go. I honestly just want to wanted to get out of there. And ask me like, where was my mind? Did I know how to get to the recently deleted folder? Did I know how to open it? The soldier was getting impatient with me and tried to take the phone away from me, and tell me where this strength or where this craziness came from. I pulled my phone away from him, but I don't know how it worked out. I was able to style it and be like, oh, I'm just trying to use my face to open it because, it's like my password. So I don't know, maybe the look of shock on my face scared my camera, scared the recognition. So it wasn't opening the folder. It just took too long, man. Like, it's like I lost all sense. My hands were shaking. I couldn't remember my password at the time. But anyways, after a little bit of trying to get into it, I was able to get into the recently deleted folder. And I just deleted the pictures, but there were also some pictures from the past, right? So the soldier was like, let me see the phone, because he didn't trust that I had deleted all the photos. Like, bruh, trust me, my life is more important than some photos in front of, yes, this is a very beautiful building, but these guns on your waistline, trust me, I don't want those problems. Anyways, he told me to give him my phone, and I'm like, oh Lord. No, why? I gave him my phone reluctantly. All this time that he's having my phone, I'm just thinking to myself, bruh, I'm from London, like, I'm from the UK. I haven't even finished paying off for this phone yet. Like, we get stuff on credit. I'm gonna have to buy the phone again. And unfortunately, yes, I'm thinking this because unfortunately in Ghana, a lot of the time you have to do things around the corner, meaning like sometimes there's just unwarranted corruption just for small things. Um, but we give thanks that, to my surprise, that day was not one of those days, and those soldiers, they acted professionally, as scary as it was for me, and as irrational as it seemed coming from London. Because, we're used to being able to take photos in front of the Buckingham Palace, or even if you go to America, taking photos in front of the White House. So if you've not understood so far, that the place that we were taking photos in front of was the Jubilee House, which is the Ghanaian president's house. So I didn't know at the time that's exactly what it was, but after, talking to people, telling friends about it, they were like, oh, that's the president's house. And even if I knew it was the president's house, I would have just assumed that it's like the White House, right? Like, you can take photos in front of it. There wasn't any security guards standing there to our knowledge when we got there. There wasn't a sign saying don't take any photos. So we just thought, we can take some photos in front of the gate. But that is not the case. And that is why I tell this story, because thankfully I got back my phone. I didn't have to pay no kind of bride price. The soldier was professional, as scary as it was. And I was able to go on with the rest of my day, shaken up as I was. I was able to go on with the rest of my day, because I was just thinking, when he took my phone, I don't even know where I am. How am I getting home? You see, like, my partner was only in Ghana for a few weeks, so he was just basically using my mobile hotspot because he didn't have a Ghana SIM card. And I'm just thinking like, oh, please, Lord. But my prayers worked. I got back my phone. Also, come to find out when I arrived home that evening that this was the day of the horrible, horrible helicopter crash that So many members of authority in Ghana actually passed away tragically. They were killed in the crash. Even the Minister of Defense was killed in the crash. So maybe that might have added to the soldiers and the agents' attitudes, the men in black. Um, Maybe that made them a bit more tense, like, what the heck is going on here? Who knows? So the moral of this story is to just, before you go to a country that is foreign to you, do your research, look on their website. Apparently, this information is on their website. I still think that they need a poster. Like, yeah. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this story time. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Honestly, share this one if you care, because maybe it could have gone a different way, right? I'm just very grateful that things worked out the way that it did. Rest in peace to the people who died in that horrible plane crash, and my condolences to their family. It's not always personal. Sometimes you never know what people are going through. I'm sure these men were colleagues and friends of the people who passed away. So, yeah, here we are. Peace on the increase. I am Adanish, Queen of Heart, and this is Our Alchemy.